Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I want to talk about communication in Arena, specifically for Frost Mage, but I kind of tailored it for Frost Mage, but this could really be used for any class. So, but I really want to talk about are 5 main things that you want to talk about in Arena. One, when you can next go, and I'll talk about all these things more in detail, so don't worry, I'm just going to list them out right now. When you can next go, when you actually are going, your next defensive cooldown, so defensive cooldown management, your kicks, and enemy defensive cooldowns, or just defensive cooldown tracking. So whether it's your partners, whether it's you, whether it's just any type of cooldown tracking. So oh, that guy walled. Oh, my pally has no bubble. Something like that. So you want to keep track of all the cooldowns in your head, and you can talk about those things. So those are the 5 things you really want to talk about it. So let's jump right into it. When you can next go. This is probably the most important thing as a Frost Mage. It's more relevant when you're playing something like Rogue Mage, Windwalker Mage, maybe Warrior Mage. And these are go-centric comps, right? These are comps where you're doing nothing, doing nothing, doing nothing, boom, pushing and going on the healer, getting CC on the healer, maybe getting a sheep on the healer, getting a stun on the DPS, throwing the orb out, the Comet Storm, the Ice Nova, the Icy Veins, spam Ice Lance, etc. That is a go. I talk about goes a lot in my YouTube videos. When you can go, that means you have maybe Veins up, maybe you have Orb up, maybe you have Comet Storm up, maybe you have Ice Nova up, or maybe you have Ebon Bolt up. Those are the 5 things you kind of want to look for on your action bar. If you don't have any of these 5 things, you can't really go, and you kind of have to tell your partner, give me 20 seconds for Orb, or, I don't have an Orb, but I have an Ebon Bolt up. So this is what you want to communicate. I have Veins Orb, I'm ready, I can one-shot this guy, or, I have Veins in a minute, I have Orb now, I have Ebon Bolt in 5, or, I have a small go, I just have Comet Storm and Ice Nova, I don't have much damage, but next go, I have Veins Orb, so we can kill. Something like this. When is your next go? This is probably the #1 most important thing, guys, that you want to talk about as a Frost Mage. Because your burst, you're a burst class. If you're not talking about when your next burst is, then, why are you even there, right? So, talk about when you can next go. And then, second thing, I want to talk about when you're actually going. So say, don't just throw out an orb, don't just throw out an Icy Veins without saying it in your voice comms, don't just throw out an Ebon Bolt, say, this is my Veins Orb, one-shotting this guy, let your partners know so that they know that you used your offensive cooldowns. Or, big Ebon Bolt on this guy, he's about to take a lot of damage. If you guys listen to my voice comms, these are the things that I talk about when I'm in voice comms. So Veins Orb is a big one, right? That's once every 3 minutes. Ebon Bolt is a big one that you want to talk about. And then if you're just orbing without Veins, and then you just orb Comet Storm, Ice Nova, Ice Lance, your standard burst rotation, then you want to call that out as well. Number 3 here, your defensive cooldowns. I want you to talk about your Ice Block, whether if you're playing with a Pally, is it your Ice Block next, or is it his Sacrifice next? Is he going to sack you when you get low, or you can Ice Block when you get low? If you're playing the Priest, is it Pain Sup or is it Ice Block? If you're playing with a Druid, is it Iron Bark or Ice Block? You always want to talk about these defensive cooldowns and kind of, okay, I have 1 block left, I have no blocks left, I have 2 blocks left. Let your healer know what defensive cooldowns you have so that you can kind of, tie that in with their defensive cooldowns without overlapping. This is very critical. Defensive communication is more often than not, this is going to be with your healer. You can also let them know about your blinks and your temp shield, so you can kind of say like, okay, I'm going to blink around the corner and temp, I'll be fine, don't use anything, or, I'm going to Ice Block here, or, I'll Ice Block if I get low, something like that. So your defensive cooldowns are very, very important to talk about as well. Next, I want to talk about kicks. This is something very, very underrated, guys, that even a lot of people at high rating kind of fail to do. Sometimes I even forget to do it myself. So this is number 4 here on the list, and it's very hard to remember to do this, but it's very, very, very good to use your communication to help you with your kicks. And what I mean by that is, before a go, or even more simply, you can call out, I have next kick on Warlock. I have next kick on Shaman. Or, who's kicking first, me or you? If you're playing with a Rogue and you're training down a Shaman, are you kicking Shaman next or am I? Just very basic stuff like that. Very basic stuff like that. What you can also do is call out who you're going to kick and then what you're going to kick on that. I'll get Warlock's next UA. I'll kick Boomkin next Cyclone. On a go, maybe you're triple CCing, I'll Sheep Warlock and Counterspell next Cyclone from Boomkin. This lets your partners know when you're using your Counterspell and what you're using your Counterspell on and who you're using your Counterspell on, so you can really not overlap your kick with another partner and that your partners kind of know what you're aiming to Counterspell. Very important here, guys, for number 4. And then number 5, the last thing you should be communicating is basic stuff like cooldowns, guys. That DK AMS, TIBF, the rogue has no cloak. You know, he has no cloak, no vanish, no trinket. We can swap rogues. This is just kind of macro. This is getting your kill target down, kind of seeing who you're going to be swapping onto based on their cooldowns, and kind of going from there. You know, Mage has no blocks. Let's swap on the Mage. Paladin, do you have a bubble left, or do you have pain suppression left for me? So this is talking about cooldowns defensively, offensively, for your teammates and for the enemies. Maybe the Shaman just Bloodlust. Alright, Shaman has no Bloodlust, no Doom Winds. It's our turn to go offensive. Shaman has no Wall. Let's go on Shaman next swamp. You know, something like that. So hopefully all these tips helped, guys. So let's recap one more time. When you can next do damage, the most important thing to talk about here in this video. When you can next do damage, you're a burst class, you want to talk about when you can next do damage. When you're actually doing that damage, because you don't want to just say, I can do it in 20, and then when 20 comes up, just do it. You know, you want to say, okay, I can do it now. I'm popping my damage right now, you know. 3, your ice block. Is it your ice block next? Defensive cooldown management. Is it the sack next? Is it the pain sup next? Kind of talk about your defensive cooldowns. 4, kicks. Who is kicking next, and what is your kick going into? Talk about those things so you don't overlap them. And 5, offensive and defensive cooldowns for your partners, for yourself, for the enemies, so you can land a kill on the, you know, the best thing you can really kill. So guys, this is communication in Arena wrapped in a nutshell for Frostmage. I hope this helps. This is everything that I talk about in my games, and I hope if you were one of those viewers out there that are like, well, you know, I want to get in the voice comms, I don't know really what to say, or, you know, how to communicate clearly. I hope this video helps you guys. Thumbs it up if it did. Thumbs it down if it didn't. Talk to me in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace!